Welcome back. I'm at the cabin and oh boy, it is raining. We finally are getting the rain that we've been due for the last month and a half. It's all coming this week. So I'm just making a nice potato curry here. And I wanted to tell you guys what's been going on with the forest canopy. We've been invaded by the gypsy moths since I last left you guys here. They were just starting, but we'll have to show you what's been going on with the trees I planted and the trees that have been here a long time. And we'll have some fun along the way, so stay tuned. Oh, this is pretty good. This is a nice green curry, potato curry. I'm making feel-good food for a dreary day. Put the sausage in there, onion and potatoes, and green curry with spices. So this is going to be good. Well, it looks like the phoebes successfully raised their brood. They've left the nest. And they left a heck of a mess. The forest is greening up with all this rain. Just heard a big crash, bang, boom off in the distance. Probably over there. I think a deer just went through. I also heard the hummingbird at the feeder. Well, there it is, the European gypsy moth caterpillar. So those caterpillars came originally from Europe in about 1869, and they're a huge problem here, and right now we're nearly at their peak. I don't know, I've been hearing that next year might be pretty bad too. They have a voracious appetite, and they can eat the leaves of 300 species of trees. And if a tree is completely defoliated, that's it, that's all. Goodbye tree. Huge problem. I want to take you out and show you what's been going on with the trees that have been planted, and the trees have been growing here over the last 7 years. And of course, obviously trees have been here before that. So we'll take a look at that, and we'll also talk about methods to control the gypsy moth. And of course, I'll show you some insects that are really beneficial here, and just to add some good news to this invasive species story. So here at the cabin, I'm part of the Managed Forest Tax Incentive Program, where I get some tax initiatives, reduced tax rates for taking care of the forest, making trails and monitoring for invasive species. So let's go take a look at what's going on with the trees. So methods for controlling the gypsy moth, you can use manual extraction to kind of remove the caterpillars. In the fall, you can destroy these egg sacs. So right here, you can kind of scrape them off the trees. That's a huge task, but you can kind of scrape them off. When they become caterpillars, you can put burlap around the base of the tree, or you can put duct tape with the sticky side up. Basically, they really don't like that. As the season goes on, you have to get the trees sprayed with BT, which is a bacteria that infects them and can kill them. But you have to, all these things have a certain small window of time. Like I think they have to be about an inch or so long, for some of these treatments to work. If you have a small number of trees that you want to protect, there's also a product you can inject into the trees so that the gypsy moths die when they eat the leaves. So lots of methods, but for a big acreage like this, it's really, really hard. You'd really have to, pay for a flyover with a plane to spray BT on everything to get rid of the gypsy moths. So it can be a huge problem. The province didn't really set up anything to deal with it this year, as far as I know. It was just on the individual woodlot owner to try and deal with it, which becomes very overwhelming. Thankfully, it looks like a lot of the trees will be okay. It's just some of the younger ones, unfortunately, that won't make it. So this is the new hammock I have here at the cabin. It's kind of fun, but take a look. That's all caterpillar poop. So it has to be shaken out several times a day because that's where they poop. And right here, getting the sun coming through the canopy there because they're chewing on all those leaves. What a mess. First stop here is the basswood, and a lot of basswoods on the property actually. Really nice wood for carving and stuff like that. Very light wood, but you can see just how much damage they've done. Kind of everything's moth-eaten. Ah, there's one of the culprits right here. Right there. Ugh. Gross. So my assessment is that the aspens got hit really hard. You can see here, there's one little guy right there just chomping away. All the large tooth aspens have just been decimated by this. You can see, some of the bigger stands that I have and some of the smaller, younger stands. The gypsy moths have even hit my conifers. It's really disturbing. The damage There's one right there. I've just been kind of manually picking them off. And my pines, they've taken this really odd shape to their growth. See how the waviness to the branches there? Really unusual. I've never seen that happen. I don't know if it's a combination of the drought stress and the insect stress that they've been having lately, but really weird. Very, very strange. On this tree right here, it's like you can see the direction of the prevailing winds, and that's the truth there. Maybe we've had some really strong winds up here during their growth. I don't know. So this pine right here has a bit more normal growth, a bit more. This is what I'm expecting when it kind of grows upward like that. Not all wispy and strange. But this one looks pretty, doesn't look too attacked by the gypsy moths. So that's probably, I don't know, maybe that's why. Then you can see over here, some of them that have this very wavy new branches. Oh no, look at this. Ugh, they're everywhere. Little red dots there, very characteristic of these gypsy moth caterpillars. Probably shouldn't handle them, I might end up with a rash, but my hands are pretty callous, so hopefully not. But look at the damage that they did just to this spruce right here. Just dreadful. If you look at the tree line sort of by the shower house there, you can see up there and there, trees extremely sparsely filled in with leaves. So looks like late fall. Well, it's not. That's the damage of the gypsy moth caterpillar. Well, a lot of these trees will be sacrificed. They will endure a lot of damage. Some of the deciduous trees, they will have a second flush of leaves that will come out a little bit later on in the season, so I hope they can recover. But certainly it's going to be a big hit for a lot of the trees, especially I find at the property here, the aspen. Fortunately, aspen, they regenerate really quickly, and they're all kind of genetic clones of each other, so they can put up suckers and regenerate themselves. But big bad year for gypsy moths here in Ontario. Of course, one of the best caterpillars that I have around here and that I love is the monarch caterpillar. So this little one's curled up here on the flower head of the milkweed, the common milkweed. So this one I'm so happy to see. Got a lot of milkweed here in the field, and this plant is going to feed this little one until development into the monarch butterfly. So definitely this is a caterpillar I'm really excited to see here at the cabin. Oh, there's a monarch going off there, silhouetted against the trees. There it is. Amazing. Wind's starting to kick up here. We're kind of getting a bit of rain, bit of sun, bit of everything today. I'm going to take you now to an area that's really hard hit by the gypsy moths. So there's a stand of aspen right there, and it looks like fall. There's very few leaves on them. Let's go take a look at the younger ones nearby. There is nothing on these. Look at that. Stripped bald. Absolutely no leaves. These are pretty young trees. These are probably about 5-6 years old. And there's nothing there. There's some left on some of the parent trees. Like I mentioned before, a lot of these aspens are genetic clones of each other. But look at that. Unbelievable. We'll have to see what happens to these trees if they can manage, because this will be a year they won't be able to get a lot of nutrients from photosynthesis, that's for sure. We'll see what happens. I'll have to keep you guys posted. Ooh, as I'm going around through the field here looking at the trees, look at this, strawberry season. So these are the wild strawberries that we have here at the cabin. Really, really tasty. Ooh, try not to drop them. Really tasty, super sweet. Yeah, really, really tiny. Delicious. The rain settled down a bit, and I wanted to show you guys I got a new Browning trail camera. Got that all set up, looking down the trail, so you should get some good views of the deer in the area. Fishers and the fox usually come through here. It is the Browning Recon Force Edge, so it's got full HD video. It's gonna take lots of awesome pictures for me. Probably taking my picture right now. All right, so day one of a big dump of rain, and just taking a look here at the mushroom farm. I'm really hoping this year it flushes out. It's supposed to get a week of rain, so I'm hoping that makes the mycelium really happy, and we'll get a flush pretty soon. So not really seeing the mushrooms out just yet in the forest, but I think after a few more days of rain, boom, we're gonna have a nice flush. So to keep my eyes peeled. As always, I have my foraging pouch with me, and I wanted to show you that modification I recommended. So I've got another snap right here, so that it holds my pouch. So last time I left you guys, I'd recommended that because sometimes if you're really walking around a lot, just moving around, that inner flap kind of pops open a bit. So it's absolutely perfect now. So I highly recommend that modification to the pouch. Wow, just look over here. Look at this beautiful butterfly. Oh my gosh, Royce. Like, seriously? All right, the butterfly went that way. Let's take a look. And that's a northern crescent butterfly. It's in the brushfoot butterfly family. Isn't it beautiful? There's a beautiful insect I love to see at the cabin, butterflies. So I remember as a kid, I don't know if you guys ever had to do this. Did you ever raise monarch butterflies or painted lady butterflies? When I was at school, we raised painted lady butterflies. They were beautiful and lots of fun to learn the life cycle. Just looking at one of these nasty caterpillars, but look over here beside it, something positive, signs of mushroom life in the forest. So although this is not an edible one, it's a beautiful one. One of my favorites. It's the violet-toothed polypore. See a little hint of violet on the edge there. So really nice to find these guys. Very, very beautiful. Again, they are not an edible mushroom, but nice to see nonetheless. Well, thankfully, the gypsy moth caterpillars have not hit my butternut. I've protected it. This is an endangered species in Ontario. I raised this one actually from a small nut out of the tree. So it has not been touched by the gypsy moth infestation, thankfully, because I've basically walled it off at the bottom. And this was actually folded right over. So we're at the end of their caterpillar cycle right now. Yeah, thankfully my butternut was spared, which is really important. It is an endangered species, so not good if it gets attacked by these caterpillars. Do you see what I see? Yeah, I see some witch's butter. This looks fairly fresh as well. Awesome. Yeah, this is a wild edible. It's like a jelly type mushroom called witch's butter. You'll see this on a lot of decaying logs. Seems to rehydrate after big rainfalls like this. So look at that. Looks like apricot jelly. Just made it down to the bay after a little hike surveying the gypsy moth damage, and water levels are pretty high. So that's a good sign. A lot of rain around here. And nice for Royce to cool off after a hike. It's pretty humid. Bugs aren't terrible like they have been in previous videos you guys have seen. The deer flies are out and a few mosquitoes. But the air is really close out here. It's just ugh. Really humid. I'd go for a swim, except I'm sure the leeches would have me for lunch. There's an eagle. Getting chased off by a bird. Beauty. There are a lot of eagles around here, and it's so nice to see after a lot of them were destroyed by the pesticide DDT, you know. So every summer I see them here, and I see them in winter too sometimes. If there's a little bit of open water somewhere, they will find it and they will get some fish. So down here by the bay, quite often I'll see just on top of one of the big white pines, I'll see a beautiful bald eagle. Love it. Looks like the rain's starting again. Roy's going in for another dip. All right, so we're in business. I wanted to take Royce out on a little canoe ride. I couldn't find the paddle. He starts digging underneath the dock and finds said paddle. So he really wants to go, so let's go for a paddle. All right, we're in the boat. Probably won't film too much here because I'm paddling and solo with him right here. So we're trying to not tip over while I'm filming. So it's nice to be out here with him. I've done a lot of work over the last few seasons, like fall and spring and last summer obviously, to get him used to being in a canoe and behaving in the canoe. It's really hard. I'd recommend if you're trying to get a dog used to a canoe, stay close to shore, stay in really shallow water, so in case you guys dump over, which is going to happen, that nobody gets too hurt. He's a good swimmer, doesn't like it, but he swims, and I have my life jacket on as well in case he dunks us right over. He likes playing funny games in the water, like sometimes he'll lean over and grab some algae and bring it into the boat. Yeah, lots of fun trying to balance him out. So you got to be aware. I also like to just have a certain stance in the boat where I can balance this out if possible, because as you see right there, he just tried to move over to the side where I was paddling. So I have to be ready to shift very quickly. In the bottom of the boat here, I just have one of those camping mats. Just gives him a little extra grip on the fiberglass. I mean, he's got good nails, but that really helps. But nothing beats just being out here with the dog at the boat, exploring, looking at things. It's truly a lot of fun. Of course, beautiful lily pads are coming up with the yellow flowers. This bay used to be full of them. It is early in the season. Got a few of them coming up. Favorite food of the muskrat in here. There's these old stumps in here. This bay has been flooded, so these stumps are really old. There used to be an old cedar swamp in here. And now they've got new life on the top of them. It's pretty interesting. Sometimes you'll see tiny little trees or grasses, things like that. Of course, the red-winged blackbirds love making their nests off there. And I've got my duck house up over there. There's a pond just beyond that cattail patch there where the beavers are. And also my wood duck house. Very peaceful in here. One of the things I just saw in the water that I do not like seeing is that big green, not blue-green algae, but just a blob of this slimy algae in there. I've seen that happen in some of the Ontario lakes and rivers when there's too many nutrients in them, most likely with pollution from people's fertilizers and things like that running off into the waters. Not a good sign. That algae consumes a lot of the oxygen and restricts sort of sunlight deeper into the lower parts of the river. So I don't like seeing that. I haven't seen that here yet until this year, so that's not a good sign. I've seen it in some of the bigger lakes that have gotten polluted by fertilizers and things like that that provide too much nutrients into the waterway, and those kind of big slimy balls of algae they kind of take over. So that's not really good. I'm not happy to see that here. Such a shame. Well, we're out of the boat now. That was lots of fun. He did pretty well. Just a few times he tried to knock me into the drink there, but not bad at all. It's starting to get dark. I think it's going to rain again, so I'm going to go take some cover. Well, thanks so much for joining me today at the cabin for a little adventure and discussion about the gypsy moths. Hopefully your woodlots weren't hit too hard by them this year. We'll see what happens in the year to come. Maybe next year will be the peak, I don't know, but it's been pretty bad this year. All right, I hope you guys have a wonderful week and get out in the woods and enjoy it. It's a lovely, lovely summer we're having. Hope you guys have a great week. Take care.